I pray that your weekend has gone swimmingly and that you have restored your energy, restored your faith in yourself. I pray each day that you find that which you need to establish your mental health. So, thankfully, today, of course, the day of the God Money. The God Money teaches us of control, of balance. But before I get too far, I want to say thank you to all of those individuals who support our everyday show. Far North Tinctures, a wonderful collection of natural remedies that can provide you with the relief you need from those physical ailments. Mountain Rose Herbs, the greatest provider of herbs and spices everywhere, anywhere. Check them out. Again, you can find all of these links through our website at akulfhefner.com. Again, I want to say thank you beyond words to the wonderful, gifted individuals at New Reality TV who are bringing a wealth of perspectives to us through everyday streaming that you can subscribe to and be a part of your expansion of your consciousness. A wonderful collection, so be sure to check them out. NewRealityTV.com. And finally, I just want to say, for those of you who are really looking for totems and or do-it-yourself natural remedy kits that you can purchase, check out our store at store.akulfhefner.com. These kits come with everything you need except for the liquid ingredients, so olive oil or 80% alcohol, that you can make your own tinctures with, constantly refreshing them by, you can just buy the herbal part, and with the mason jars and the other things, you have everything you'll need to make your own tinctures for all yourself and your family that will provide a natural remedy for that which ails you. Today we're talking about money, and we're talking about the brain. We're talking about the human brain. Because so often we hear these, well, you need to be at this mentality. You need to just relax, and you need to focus, and this, that, and the other thing. And many of us are saying, wait. Right now, we have 3 children, a mortgage, all the bills, everything going on. Not to mention, my hours have been cut at work and all of the stresses of modern day. And so, a wonderful friend, definitely part of New Reality TV. You want to check her out and her show, Stress Therapy. But she talks about, and one of the things I picked up from our discussion was start small. Remember, my friends, your life has not been done overnight. It's taken time. Okay, all too often in our divination, when we're reading the runes, and one of the tiles that we draw is Yira. And of course, Yira, kind of that symbol, Yira, but it represents the year or the seasons, time for things to occur and for us to kind of learn from. So, very beneficial that we understand that you're not going to sit down tomorrow. Well, maybe you are, but the lion's share is you're not going to sit down tomorrow and be able to meditate for 30 minutes, totally blocking all of these thoughts and these energies from entering into our brain. The deal is, how do we handle those? How do we manage those? How do we say, look, I know I owe the rent or the mortgage, whatever, but I need to not think about that for 30 minutes. Now, we wonder how we do that. Well, here is my trick to doing that. Okay? Firstly and foremost, start small. Set a time. We say 2 minutes, 1 minute, whatever it is, right? And we're going to focus. And then what I want you to do before you do meditation is I want you to get a quick, well, not a quick, but take a moment to look in the mirror or in a selfie on your cell phone. See the wonder that you are. Okay, see the gift that you are in the picture. And I want you to put that image in your mind. Focus on every little detail. From the way our hair is, right? Our ears. You know, for those of you who may have one of these big guys, by all means, what does that look like? Right? Piece together. But I want you to focus on every detail of your face. Every detail. Your eyelashes, your eyebrows, even the beauty within your eyes. Right? I want you to focus on that. See it in your mind's eye. So when you close your eyes, I want you to just see you. But I want you to not pick apart, but I want you to note every little line, everything about your face. And I really want you to drill down. Just look at every little detail. Okay? As we've spoken about this now, just in what I've explained, we've already achieved over a minute. Small things, right? So look at yourself. See yourself in your third eye. Once you close your physical sensory input, you're going to be pulling from your third eye. I want you to just think about the picture of you. Look at every little detail. You're not criticizing. You're not passing any judgments. You're simply observing that picture. Now, we've already spent over 3 minutes discussing kind of the beauty of you. Right? So meditate. Now, when we're focused on something like, as I just did, and we put a picture of us in our third eye, when we focus our energies on that one image, naturally we block out all the others. The more we focus, the more we block out. Okay, so we're going to push that stuff aside and we're going to focus our energies on seeing us. Now, for those of you who may want to look at something else, find something. Find anything. And when you close your eyes, I want you to focus on that picture. I always choose myself because I have so many wrinkles. It's so good to take some time to kind of, ooh, look at that, a new wrinkle, right? It's easy for me. And that way I can also spend longer time because I got lots of wrinkles, right? So the comfort that hopefully you will have is recognizing the wonder, the beautiful person that you see as you put yourself in your eye, right? As you are looking at yourself, you recognize how beautiful you are, right? Secondly, we're blocking out all other energies, all other thought processes. We're not worrying about currently what the dog is doing. We're not worried about our rent. We're not worried about the electric bill. We're not worried about enough gas in the car. We're pushing all that aside. and we're just focused on that one image. This is how we begin the process of learning, of teaching our brain to meditate, or as I like to refer to it, intrinsic reflection. The key is the more we focus, the more entirely we block out all of these other energies, all of this scattering going on in our brain. Now, remember when I said the aura, of course, has two parts. It has the internal part, which can be cloudy and it gets really murky when we're just thinking about all kinds of things. And the problem with that is that when this is murky, we have a harder time at communicating through it, passing energy through it. As I mentioned before, it becomes very akin to the frosted globe, right? And the light is diffused as it's going out and coming in. So as we send energy out to the spiritual realm in the form of questions or inquiries, it can get convoluted. It may get broken up, and as such, then when it gets out to the spiritual realm, the convoluted question, the scattered question, is answered, but it's not really the question you were asking. You see how that process of moving through the aura can actually damage the energy that you send in the form of a question, right? And then coming back, you'll have the same effect. So when the spiritual realm and the universe gives us these answers to our questions, we see that that energy is diffused as well. So it becomes even more convoluted, which is why sometimes when we're thinking about asking the universe a question, and the answer we get back has nothing to do with the question we asked. This is why, right? So we ask, will I be married in 2 years? And you get back, you will own a dog. Right? And the reason is because our minds were going at a mile a minute, thinking about all these other things. Our aura was cloudy. Our question went out. It was picked apart, diffused. All the energy kind of moved around. As it moved through the aura going out to the spiritual realm, the spiritual realm said, well, I think they're asking this, so here's the answer to that question. And then as it comes back through this murky aura, of course, it is convoluted even further. So, we are asking the universe, oh, hey, what about being married? By the time it gets through and back, we're on to pet care, pet ownership. So this is the real reason behind meditation, and this is the real reason behind what I call intrinsic reflection, is that we're focusing our energy, and we're blocking out all of those other thoughts, right? All of that other thinking, so that when we clear the mind of all that chatter, our aura becomes more clear. Then the question goes out, the energy in the form of a question goes out through the aura to the spiritual realm. Firstly, the spiritual realm as a whole then hears our question, actually knows what we're asking, but then in the same breath, as they send back the answer, we become knowledgeable in that now the question or the answer is related to the question, right? Because they understood what the question was, and we understood what their answers were. So this becomes the real reason behind meditation, in that we're blocking that energy, clearing the aura, and allowing for cleaner, clearer communications between us and our ancestors. So it's so critical as we come today, celebrating the god Mani. Mani, of course, for those of you not familiar, maybe joining the show, Mani, of course, according to the Norse legends, Mani was the moon. He was the brother of Sol, the sun, and he was the moon, and he brought into existence, into the realm of Midgard, as Mani, or as Sol would create temperatures, light, okay, Mani would take away the light, and he would bring in darkness. Of course, darkness meaning simply unilluminated. Doesn't mean bad, doesn't mean evil, nothing like that. It simply means unilluminated. And he would bring in cooler temperatures of the evening, right? And then he would allow for the further, remember, he's creating questions, because that's what darkness does, is creates questions. And then Soul would then kind of resume in beginning to inform and illuminate us with intellect and knowledge. That came in the form of light and warmth of her daytime. So they were kind of a perfect wave, right? Together. Soul handled the uptime, and Mani handled the downtime. Mani handled, as we absorbed and we reviewed and we studied and we learned the intellect of the day, he then helped us to form questions as to where do we take this knowledge moving forward, right? So we've learned here today. Now we're going to kind of process that in our brain, and we're going to think about it, and we're going to organize it. And then what's that do? That creates more questions, or it should create more questions within our mind. And that's what Mani did. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because this is our existence. This is what we're here to do, is that we're here to learn. Now, in much the same way that we have the rise in intellect and illumination, and then we have the darkness of questioning and seeking and the passion for learning that comes in the night and then into the learning of the day. So, all part of our natural process, all part of life as we know it. And both of these very much a requirement of our existence. So I hope that you take some time to just embrace that. And even if it's just a visual, to help you to kind of arrange your thought process, your thinking. I am always reminded that people have asked me hundreds of thousands of times maybe, what is the difference between, those mentalities of antiquity and certainly the mentality of today? Obviously, technology has a huge sink in that it's changed the way we think, the way we do, the way everything about us and our living. But when we think about antiquity and their thought process and the way they function, they understood that as Mani completed his cycle into the day, right, there was an expectation of learning something new, of being wowed, right? Even now, you have to remember, this is long before the computer and being wowed, being amazed at the gifts of existence was truly, could have been totally mind shattering for what we would refer to as very simplistic things. The beautiful thing is, as I have communicated with my ancestors, the role is reversed as I amaze myself at simplicity, at the ease at which they communicate spiritually, and they did communicate spiritually. Their whole life was structured around a spiritual connection with the world around them. So I marvel at that, and then they marvel, of course, at technology and where life has gone, and our inability or our indecisiveness about bonding with nature and bonding with our other physical life forms on Midgard with us. So we now have wonderful conversations about these two things, and how I'm trying to mentally get away from the technology and the hubbub of every day of modern day life. I'm trying to get away from that, and they're like really intrigued about it. So we see this certainly a different patterns of understanding Mani's gift to us as living beings. It all comes down to our aura and how well we communicate through our aura. We always talk about, for those of you who have seen the show, been on the shows, you know that aura, of course, comes in two pieces. We have the inside, as we were just speaking about, which can get murky based on our thought process, how much we're thinking, how our brain is going 90 miles an hour, right? And then the border of our aura is actually how we're feeling. It's our emotional state, okay? And that's the border of our aura. Now, you're probably wondering why all this is important, but have you ever been in a large room with hundreds of people, and I love it, my granddaughter uses the word, the vibes. Have you ever had the vibes from other people? And some people, their vibe is inviting and warm and just, you want to be near those people. And then there's other people in those rooms where you're like, yeah, no, I'm going to go over here, okay? Because I don't want to be near that person, or I don't want to interact with those people. And you're wondering, well, what makes me think that about them? And even though they look completely normal, if you will, to everybody else, this is our borders, right? Our aura's border, when they bump, you have two different major states that we need to consider when in a room like that. The first state is when things are at a real high frequency, and they're beep. This is as the two auras come in contact with each other, the one that's really high frequency is going to repel all these others, because we're just thinking of ourselves. We're really focused on just all the things going on in our brain, and we just feel that everybody is going to be problematic or angry, and so our frequency on that border is super high. It's super fast. It's great big spikes all the way around, and so as their aura comes in, it can't penetrate. Right? It's being repelled. Specifically, if they're both really high frequency, when they're both really high frequencies, sometimes you can have a mingling, but again, you've got to match frequencies, right? So a little bit more challenging. When our aura border is nice and slow, we have balance, we have comfort, we have peace. Our borders are nice and slow. And others' borders are nice and slow. Then when the borders come in contact, they can come in. Okay? So instead of repelling, now they mix. And this is where we have friends, colleagues. Ultimately, the further their aura comes in, the closer the friendship is. Okay? This is why in many cases, I have met many people in my life now, whom I would say, I think the old term, when I was a younger man, I used to use the term soulmate, right? And this is where these border auras are matching. They're absolutely identical. And so they flow very easily across each other, right? And then these people come into our being. They're part of our psyche. They're part of our breathing. I mean, they become part of who we are. So those people, our soulmates, this is also, our soulmates are people whose border matches as closely as two people can mate, right? And so those people have a very strong bond. Our friends coming into our aura, being able to see some of our thought process, being able to feel some of our thought. So they are picking up on empathy, and really getting into who we are and what we are as people. So very important that we recognize that value. So Mani teaches us this balance, the control, and that's where intrinsic reflection and or meditation really is going to benefit us in the long run. When we take time, putting an image in our mind, and we focus all we have, all of our brain process, we focus on that point. We will see where all of these other energies are going to start being blocked. Many people say to me, well, what if I get into my meditation and I'm still seeing thoughts and having other ideas? Focus. It's all about focus. And this is really where the totem comes in handy, is when you focus on a totem. You focus on something, whether it be a ring, a bracelet, necklace, whatever it is. Picture of your face, wooden objects. One of the things I have that I use periodically is this is of course my figure of Othin, and I focus on it and I see all the little cracks. And this is again a methodology at which to focus our energies, clearing our aura and allowing for spiritual communication. Well, that's all for today, my friends. I pray that you have a wonderful Mani's Day. We will see you again this evening, where we talk about a question that you've asked through either email or through some of the messages on the platform. And for those of you who watch us on TikTok, it is good to be back. We will continue ever forward as we try to enlighten and educate. Love and light, my friends.